Hi guys, my name is Breigh. Welcome back to the podcast Know Your Rights, and today we have a very special guest, my amazing songwriter and just an amazing person in general, Rachael Chevlin, talking about pop and copyrights and pop and all that jazz, so stay tuned.
Okay, my name is Rachael Chevlin. I have a middle name too, but if you want that, you can, reach out to me. I kind of keep it on the low. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. But my name is Rachael Chevlin. I'm a singer, songwriter. I write mostly, I don't know. I don't like to say I'm like this type of writer, but I guess I'd say like R&B and pop R&B is kind of like my forte, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what's your musical background and when did you start writing? Like around what age?
Well, my musical background dates back to when I was a toddler, probably. I'm sure like most people who are actually maybe not most people who are in music, but a lot of people who have been doing this their whole lives have the story like, oh, like I was singing, before I was talking or that type of stuff. But I was always, I was a chatterbox. My mom called me and still calls me. But yeah, and I was like always singing, and everyone in my family like played an instrument or did something. My grandpa, my dad was an opera singer. My mom's dad and my dad's dad, my Zeta, was a music teacher. So taught like how to play all different instruments and stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty much, I would say, in my blood. So I'd been singing like my whole life. But I started writing, I wrote like some little silly songs when I was like 7 or something about like how my dad goes to work all the time. I was like, I want to play, but he's at work.
Oh my God. You need to find those.
No, really.
The unreleased
ones. So I did that a little bit, kind of always sang. I did like some coffee house performances, but I never did like original stuff. I was like nervous. This was kind of later. This was maybe when I was like 15. So we skipped a chunk of time.
Yeah.
But I started like songwriting, like writing full songs probably when I was like a junior or a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Just on piano. Didn't really know how to play piano, but I just played a note and I was like,
Yeah. There we go. You built it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, from then on, I kind of was just writing like every single day, like wanted to write instead of hanging out with my friends. I wanted to write instead of spending time and like doing something else. It was kind of, I always just wanted to put all my time and energy into that. So, and I'm still doing it today. So
yes.
Yeah.
So, what had you heard about the music industry kind of like before you got into it? Like, what was your like preconceived conception of what it was?
I would say, I just heard like lots of drama. There's like a lot of like dark sides.
She has a dog. She has an amazing dog.
He's the light of my life, but he is very loud right now. Hold on. Real life, ladies and gentlemen.
She has a dog. Dogs are included in the podcast too.
Dogs are always
We're all inclusive. This is an all-inclusive podcast with all dogs in there.
Anyway. So I don't know. I kind of heard that there's a lot of like dark stuff that could happen. And I was like, ooh, like kind of getting like screwed over, putting their trust and faith in people. And then it gets thrown right back in their face. We saw even with Taylor. I'd already been in the industry a little bit, I would say, or gotten like more of a sneak peek, but with Taylor Swift, she's a huge, huge star and she still had issues with owning her own music. So it's like, just crazy that stuff like can happen at any stage. But yeah, so stuff and people like stealing other people's music. And I was like always nervous about for starting to work with people just in case, but yeah, mostly, unfortunately, a lot was negative. But of course, we know like there's so many positives. I mean, music like changes lives. So
Yeah.
process can be kind of, it can be bad. But I've had good experiences in the industry. I have not yet had, knock on wood, a bad.
She knocked on her head, by the way. Her head's not made of wood. I just want to clarify that.
That's a thing people do. That's a thing.
Yeah. So how has your expectations of the music industry differed? I think like say 4 years ago when maybe you really first got like a taste of it, and then like now when you're like kind of like you're working in it and you're doing it. How has that kind of perception changed? Like dramatically, not dramatically, disappointing, anything? Like just rant.
Just rant.
just rant, and we'll edit later. Oh my God. Okay, sorry. Her dog just came. I have to like announce everything. Like it's not, it's like, her dog just came here to the chat, to the podcast.
He's entered the chat.
The podcast. I think he has something to say too.
Oh yeah. Do you want to say something?
Do you want to say something about it? The music industry? Do you want to? Yeah. No, absolutely. I totally agree. Absolutely.
The same thing. I'm so glad we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page. This like never happens. Like everyone's on the same page right now, y'all. Okay.
Actually, you and I are pretty much always on the same.
I don't know her though. I don't know her at all. I'm kidding. She's like my best friend.
I don't know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, I had no idea. Someone sent me this person's name and I just went for it. Kidding.
I mean, lucky you because
yeah, lucky you. Lucky me for sure. Imagine if I got someone who like didn't talk. That'd be awkward.
Like, hey.
Anyway. Backstory is that me and Rachel write together.
Yeah.
Also like best friends and bestie writers. So yeah. Right. All right. That was the intro. And now, So how has your expectations of the music industry differed from like 4 years ago to now?
I mean, they've differed greatly because I was kind of on the outside looking in, and now I feel like I'm a little bit on the inside, looking on the inside still. So it's like, it's definitely been a different experience, kind of learning as I go, I guess. I would say probably the biggest thing is just knowing like if something feels weird to you, like intuition is so important, right? I would say that. I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't know. I would say like judgment when people like make certain decisions about things or work with certain people or whatever. And I think like, I don't know. I've just learned like working with a team of like good people who trust your intuition, trust your judgment, and really believe that like you don't have to have tons of experience to know what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you. So I think like the biggest thing for me was learning that like it's not all negative. It's just unfortunately some people kind of, I don't know, maybe get in with the wrong crowd or just kind of like put their trust in people who don't have the best, intentions, I guess. And so for me, that was like a learning process too. I was kind of nervous going in and starting to work with new people. But yeah, I mean, I'm blessed. I mean, we both, I would say like, I mean, to speak for you, but I think we happen to work with just like a really great bunch of people that don't make it so drama-y. Like there's no room for that. Like we're all just focused on the music and making each other feel good and uplifting each other, that there's just no time or energy that's put into the negative stuff. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's hard to really comment just because I'm just kind of dipping my toes in, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know so much, but I do know that if you have a good group of people surrounding you and that you work with that, that just kind of want to put out the positive vibes, the good vibes. And there's no like have to, or there's no, you're not this enough or that enough. Like there's none of that happening. So we're just all trying to help each other be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So I didn't know that was going to be the experience before entering, but
we both got lucky. Yeah. I think we both got lucky in the sense of you hear so many really bad things about so many people that have power and have connections and how people exploit that. And I think that's a lot of the industry. But I think like scattered amongst that is some honest, authentic people. I think they're harder to find, and I think they're few and far between. But I think we can both say that we're grateful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Opportunity to be with, real people.
Yeah.
That have the connections, but also have like just a genuine love for music. And that's the core of everything that drives all of us. And it's really refreshing. So yeah, that's my opinion on that no one asked for, but
I want it. I asked.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is an interview that goes both ways. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's not an interview. That's just not an interview, Breigh.
Just a conversation.
That's a conversation. Exactly. So what is your definition of copyright? If you had to just like put it in like very like mundane, just simple layman terms.
Copyright. I would say like copyright laws protect the work of the owner so that no one can steal it or steal it and say that they did it or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And do you think all artists should own their own masters?
Yes.
And why would you say that?
I mean, I think if your name is on it, if you put that work in, then yeah, you should own it. I mean, I don't know. It gets a little tricky sometimes because there are some people who have their name on it at the end of the day. They're the performers, right, on the credits, but they might not do any of the writing or they may not do any of the producing and any of that stuff. So people are, but there's no like talk about that. I mostly just see, the writers don't really have to be on the master sometimes. And I'm like, but like, why not? Like, why not?
So that was my follow-up question to that would be, what changes regarding songwriters getting more credit in the process to the mainstream? What would you like to see happen? That's like very like just in the next 5 years that the music industry does for songwriters specifically.
Wow. I would love to see songwriters get the same type of recognition and appreciation that the artist does, because I mean, it's like the song and the producers, anyone involved, I think, honestly, because the song it wouldn't be what it is if everyone didn't contribute, There are people who like bigger artists will credit like anyone who's just sitting in the room because they bring that type of energy, that influences the final product. Or they're like, oh, what if you did this instead, with a note change or lyrics or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I get it gets tricky because when you're kind of starting out, you don't want to give up so much of the master if you're just starting out as an artist, right?
Yeah.
But I just think like, keep it simple. Like anyone who's involved, obviously, if someone does more of the work than someone else, I think they should get more of the, I don't know.
The like credits on the master, like percentage portion. Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least like,
because there's artists too that don't write anything and are very like, just like, that's their brand. Like Rihanna doesn't write her stuff and that's like fine. And that's her brand. But then should she have full ownership of all of her masters? Should her songwriters that have created that catalog that she has that foundation for, should they have a portion of that? You know what I mean? I feel like that's my next question for you.
Yeah. I mean, I would say definitely. I think even if an artist doesn't write on the record, like it's still their record. They're still a part of it,
Yeah.
Because it's their name on it and it's their name a lot of the time. Like if it's someone like Rihanna who gets it wherever it's going, they get it into the movies or the TV shows or do a live performance of it. And that all in turn helps everyone who owns some sort of percentage of it or is credited in some way because of the royalties and whatnot. So yeah, but I would say like, yeah, I don't know. I think it should just be like more simple than it is now. I feel like it's so tricky with like the right percentage and like 0.02% more and this and that. And I just think like it's important. Everyone gets credited. Everyone gets a piece if they contributed, you know? And then I think it could definitely be more of a discussion too. It could be like everyone who's involved, like, let's say like, what does everyone think we should do? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of set a standard. And then from then on, you kind of just refer back to that. I don't know, maybe this, my opinion comes from me being naive, and maybe there's people who are like, no, we can't do that because then this could happen and this and whatever. Mm-hmm. But
well, I think, like you said, keeping it simple, because at the end of the day, it's about credit and appreciation and making everyone not only feel, but just like the right thing to do is to give them credit for what they worked on. So right. I think you have the right idea with it should be much more simpler and just like, even if it's not totally equal, like percentage wise, it should still like be like whole numbers. Like it should be like, it should just be like a very more like palpable thing. I feel like, like it shouldn't be like secretive and then like this one's buying ghost credit. Like there's just so much where like I just don't think it's necessary. I think the songwriter wants the best for the song. Every good songwriter, that's all they want. So of course, like they're going to want to give the artist who takes it credit, and they're going to want to also give the other songwriter who co-wrote it credit if they're a good person. So if you're just like accounting for that, then I think it should be very simple. But unfortunately, like I feel like maybe there's not a lot of that, or there's some people that kind of ruin it for the rest of us who are good-hearted and go into it with really good intentions and just wanting the best product at the end of the day, the best song. So my next question is, how do you feel about royalties? And do you think they are songwriter friendly, or would you make any changes?
Yeah, I think royalties are songwriter friendly. I think, I don't know, I kind of have a similar opinion, you know, compared to what we were just talking about. Like, I just feel like as long as everyone gets the piece that they're supposed to get, like royalties, I feel like do work for songwriters. But I don't know. I'm sure there are cases, again, where people are like, no, they don't. But given the fact that I'm also kind of just learning about this as I go and figuring it all out. But I would say as of right now, yeah. But
would you like to have some like your name on every master that you are a part of songwriting process? Would that be something that you would really, really like fight for and want at the end of the day?
Sure. I'd love that. Like, why not?
Yeah. That'd be something that if you could change about the industry, you would want to have your name on and a portion of all the masters that you songwrite on.
Sure. Yeah. I think like I said, I honestly think anyone, like there are multiple songwriters, they should be on it. If they're like background vocalists, they should be on it. Yeah. Everyone contributes, you know? Yeah. The producer should be on it. I don't know. To me, it should really just be like that simple. I don't know why it's not like that. I wonder.
Yeah, because the labels own all of it. How do you feel about that? Like major labels owning every artist's master for their whole career.
I'm not a fan, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I think like obviously
I'm not a fan.
No. I think the labels, you know, they do a lot to help the artists. You know, you get like the advance to work on the music videos and the albums and all this different stuff. And they promote you, like they do a lot. So I would say, I feel like it's kind of similar to management in my head, where the management gets like a certain percentage of what you do. I would say, yeah, if the label is the reason that you're able to do it in that way, then like, sure, they should get a bit of it. But as far as them owning, I'm not a fan of at all. Mm-hmm. I just feel like they can own like their part. They can own like a little piece.
A share. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just seems very strange to me. I mean, I was talking about Taylor Swift before because I just couldn't believe that everything happened like that. But the fact that she really couldn't get the stuff that she wrote, you know, she recorded, like she did all that stuff, and she was working with other people, sure, with the labels, you know, she was working with, but like that's like her shit, and she couldn't like own it. So
yeah, if they want to release it on any type of platform, any commercial, even something that can potentially be in a negative light, they have full legal like control over that. There's nothing she can't even sue because of the way the contract was and the way that the system is. So it goes even above your favorite, excuse me, or like the most famous singers in the world. It goes above that. It's you're kind of doomed from the start, which feels really negative and cynical. But I think also a place to change because we're kind of the newer generation of artists and songwriters. And I feel like just people that do wear many hats. I think this generation of artists does basically everything. We're like our own managers, our own songwriters, our own marketing people, fashion designers. We do everything because everything is so accessible. So it makes it really easy to wear many hats and do many things. And I think this generation is just a lot more aware and want their rights and know that they are deserving of it.
I mean, you look at like people on TikTok, right? Yeah. These artists that are getting discovered on TikTok, they didn't need the labels to help them get the amount of followers, the platform that they have. And then the label's like, ooh, we see that you have a following and people are going to listen to your shit. So we're trying to hop on because you're talented and there's potential. But they can say no and still be successful.
Exactly.
You know, so...
Yeah, I think there's just less like importance on the labels. So I think it doesn't make sense to have like for them to have that much control because they don't have to do that much anymore. They don't even artists develop. So I feel like there was more of an argument, 10, 15 years ago when these labels were doing so much for the artists. So it made kind of sense to be like, okay, yeah, we'll own the masters because we're putting all of this money, all of this, everything into you.
Right.
But they don't really do that anymore. I mean, it's a lot of independent people, even like people we work with that are developing, I'm being developed. So, and like not a label, not like a high major label is developing me because they don't do that. So it doesn't really make sense for the big labels to own masters anymore, even from just like, the perspective of they're not putting as much into it. So why should they get so much out of it? I mean, the catalogs that they own are worth like $500 million. That's insane. Like, I don't even know how much Taylor's catalog is worth, but they own it. And like, like that's insane. That's insane. So I think it's important to like, just start a conversation about it, because we are the newer generation of artists that want to make more money. Like we want to keep more of what we did and more of what we do in the future.
Yeah. And the labels, I think they're probably pressed because they have the name, it's like the difference between you being an independent artist and then you being with Capitol Records or, something like that. That
or you can get shelved too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but that alone can give you those connections that can put you higher and higher up. So I think that's probably another argument that the labels or people who are for the labels owning the masters could make, that they're like, would you really be the same artist with the same opportunities if you weren't connected to the label?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
definitely. I could definitely see that. I think, but at the end of the day, I feel like kind of what you said, I think if they're not in the room making the record, then should they own the master of the record?
Yeah, no, that just
seems right? Like they're getting a huge portion of it regardless. I mean, they make a lot more in royalties than me and you or the artist will ever make. They just recoup everything. So they make their money back tenfold, but then they want to also have just full control. And I feel like that's just the greediness of it. Like that's 10 steps further than they need to be. It's like, oh, we need to own everything you do. So if we want to ever, do something with the song, we don't even have to let you know. We could just do it, which is why like someone literally bought Taylor Swift, which sounds insane, but it's like, it's the harsh reality of of the world we live in. So my last question is, what's your favorite song you've ever written and why?
Oh my gosh.
I was like, I know this is, I like thought of this and I was like, Rachel is going to literally have 7 that she's just like, oh, I like this one. I like this one.
Oh, guys. Well, we've talked about this before, how we're kind of always like going and writing on to the next. So
we never go back and are just like have an appreciation day for like how far we've come. We should. We really should have just like a party, like a Zoom party where we just listen to all of the shit from like years ago and then see the growth.
Yeah.
And we haven't been working together.
We should. I'm like,
stuff we've done on our.
No, I know.
On our own, LOL.
No, honestly,
we've met months ago. I've known Rachel for 27 years. I'm kidding. I'm 21. There's no way.
I'm 20. We haven't even been alive for that.
Literally. I've met you past like in the embryonic stages. That's when I met you.
For sure.
For sure. Like my little antenna just was like, hold on. God. I have a friend. I feel a friend. Not a twin. She's not in the womb with me.
I know. I just feel like a good connection when I come out. Like it's just gonna be
when I come out. My debut, September 14th, 1999. My debut. Holy. Oh
my gosh.
I can't. Take your time.
No.
How long have we been recording? I have not.
This call?
Yeah, I don't even
know.
It doesn't tell me. Like Zoom actually does not care and does not tell me anything.
Actually, I would say like, freak. I don't even know. I mean,
if you want, give me your top. You can give me your top 3 because that's what when I was answering these questions myself because I was like, if I can't answer them, then I'm not going to ask someone else because that's weird. So I was like, what's my top 3? Because I could not pick my favorite. Like it's too hard. When you write disclaimer, when you write every song you've ever written, like that's the thing. Like some people don't write every song they've ever written, so they don't have an attachment. So when you write every song you've ever written, it's like picking your favorite dog. It's just
really my gosh. First of all, it'd be Grady. It would be great. It'd be my dog.
You're not supposed to say that.
It would be my dog.
It was supposed to be way harder. It was supposed to be way harder and way longer of a pause. You said it in like 0.2 seconds and it ruined my whole analogy. I was like, it's like picking your favorite dog. And it was supposed to have a ring. It was supposed to have a ring to it, a bit of an echo, and you just were like, Grady. Okay.
Because it is.
Well, it's something harder than that. It's picking your favorite artist. Maybe that's easy for you too, though. So you know what? I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop with the comparison.
I would say
top 3.
Probably, I wrote this song called My Love, which was like a bit of a turning point in my songwriting journey. Kind of opens a few doors, which was cool. And so I love that one.
Yeah.
I love all the stuff we do. It's so hard. I feel like we're always kind of like, you and me especially, we're always like writing a new thing and we're like, oh my gosh, this is the one.
And then we're just like, we'll write another one and be like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
But then we'll like go back and listen to everything and we'll just like feel so emotional. It's really emotional. It's really emotional, like sharing your entire like life and world.
Yeah.
As a songwriter. It's really rewarding. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, I'd say like My Love. I mean, there's like other stuff. I think that I don't know if we can really talk about it, but
I know
that weekend, a few of us wrote some stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about. That shit I really, really like. It has like good vibes.
Yeah. That one that we're both thinking of.
Yeah.
That one that we're both thinking of, that vibes really hard.
Yeah.
We can't talk about because it's so unreleased. And we'll get sued before it even like is talked about. We'll get sued. I was getting sued. Bro, I want that song on someone's project so bad. I need to stop. I
want that on your project. Are we kidding?
Stop, Rachel. Stop.
I think
like also if we're like manifesting stuff, y'all will love it. Y'all will fucking
also, yeah.
If we're manifesting songs on projects, then It's a banger. It's an absolute banger. But
yeah, I'd say like that song My Love like is very special to me. I don't know all of them. I love all of them. I don't know. Even the ones I hate, I love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. You know why? Because I feel like no matter like when you're a type of songwriter as prolific as you and you write every day, it's like a journal. It's the truth. It's like a journal. It's a diary of your emotional growth. And so like, how can you hate one? Like, you know what I mean? Like everything is like, so like step by step by step by step.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful. Cause like you have all this like steps. And then you look back and it's like this huge amount of growth because you've put in every day. You've just worked it. So
yeah, it's a crazy.
Amazing. She's amazing, y'all.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing.
No, she's going to be on the radio and you're going to know her from like all of the hits she writes for other people.
We're both going to be on the radio. True. Manifestation.
What of the day is manifest. Give us a note. Yes. Woo! She said, you're welcome.
No, I'm just messing up. I'm just totally messing up.
She has a beautiful voice too.
Oh my God.
No cap.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
Your voice, freaking monster vocalist. No one's ready. They're not ready. Totally.
Breigh and Rachel. That's how we do it. So that's the first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to be releasing 3, so once a week. Next week, I'll have a jazz performer and musician, and he'll be talking to us about the jazz world and how copyright relates to that and his opinion on if, you know, the jazz industry promotes their artists well. Thank you guys so much. Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, guys, so that was the incredible Rachael Chevlin. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I hope you guys learned something about pop and just the songwriting world in general. Thank you guys. See you next week.